Texas regarding her pregnancy. She's been in that vegetative state for months. Merrick and Yolanda's parents are suing the hospital to have her disconnected. Today is the last possible date for this. If the court doesn't rule in their favor, Yolanda will have to spend another month or two like this until they extract the fetus. Tragically, the fetus suffers from life-threatening deformities and will probably not survive beyond the day of her birth. I'm going to back up about a page repeat from last month. Merrick bit his lower lip. Memories of the moment he discovered Yolanda on the floor in the kitchen flooded his mind. She had gotten up to give Moises his bottle. Merrick had dozed off before reawakening and realizing the time, 2 a.m. Over an hour had passed. Believing his wife had fallen asleep in the rocking chair, he figured he'd put Moises back in his crib and walk Yolanda back to bed. In the baby's room, his son slept quietly. After checking the bathroom, Merrick found Yolanda lying on the kitchen floor, unconscious and unresponsive. No pulse, cold, her face blue. Frantic, he went into automatic pilot and gave her CPR. Though he had no memory of doing so, Merrick had grabbed a cell phone, charging on the kitchen counter, and called 911. Merrick leaned forward and gazed at his wife's peaceful face. I hope you know, and I realized the result of my actions. I never would have resuscitated you. I did it for you. I did it for our love. I did it for our baby Moises, and the one growing in your womb. Merrick sat down, leaned back into the stuffed chair and tilted his head upward toward the ceiling. A small blue dome protruded as it recorded the activities in the room. How many times did the thought of disconnecting Yolanda pass through his mind? He could be subtle enough with the ventilator so the camera wouldn't pick up what he was doing. Probably. Merrick decided no, after weighing the consequences of the actions. What would be gained? A month less of this torture? Maybe 2 before they took the baby and let Yolanda return to the Holy Spirit. He would be sentenced to jail, first for killing his wife, but also for killing their daughter. Moises would grow up without either parent to care for him. Merrick drew in a deep breath and looked at Yolanda with half-closed eyes. Every day we're in life and death situations. How many times do we talk about our end-of-life wishes at home after finishing our shifts? Nurses. How foolish we were. He shook his head and thought, oh, how I wish we'd drawn up the legal paperwork. Not that any document would do much good here in Texas. In his childhood, his mother had taught Merrick that God watched over him and life would be good. His father, an immigrant to America from Czechoslovakia, imparted the belief that the legal system always did the right thing. Merrick had begun to have his doubts about the former, but prayed the latter would still be true, at least when the final ruling came down. He wondered how Job had kept his faith. Knock at the door. Merrick! Merrick's eyes widened and his jaws clenched as he realized who was speaking. I have good news for you, said Pastor Thomas. In a flat, controlled voice, Merrick said, the best news you could give me is that you are leaving. Pastor Thomas stepped into the room. A family in my congregation wants to adopt a baby if you feel you cannot handle it. I can handle it. She's my daughter. I thought perhaps given the circumstances. What circumstances? The baby suffers from life-threatening deformities in her brain and heart. But just in case what? She was deprived of oxygen for an hour like her mother. If the baby survives the cesarean, they doubt she'll survive her birthday. Perhaps they are in error. God, don't give me God as your excuse. I watched your interview on the news last night. The sound of Merrick's voice reverberated in the hallway. Pastor Haughty ought to be your name. You're now in the limelight. You're in your glory. You don't care about Yolanda or our baby or all the heartache you've caused our family. If it wasn't for people like you and your bull-headed supporters, Yolanda's last wishes would have been followed months ago. An orderly stepped into the doorway. Merrick, is there a problem? Jerry was an old friend who worked with Merrick many times. Yes, there's a problem, he pointed. Pastor Thomas here. He claims to be a man of God, but he's a scavenger, a vulture, just looking for a front page photo op. Pastor, I'm sorry, but you must leave. I came to help. The best way you can help is by leaving with me now. But, said the pastor, but I'll only ask you one more time, otherwise I'll contact security. Crestfallen, Pastor Thomas opened his mouth and stopped himself before uttering a word and left with Jerry. Merrick stood there shaking, hands clenched. A moment later, Jerry returned. Merrick? It's okay, Jerry. Please come in. He's gone. I alerted security and he won't be allowed out here again. Thanks. Merrick released his bald hands and gave him a shake. Nice suit, said Jerry. Feels odd being in a hospital out of my scrubs. The attorney suggested I dress up just in case I had to shoot down to the courthouse. Anything I can do for you? Pray. Jerry nodded. We'll talk later. Thanks. Merrick's phone beeped. 3:51. Only 9 minutes until the court closed. A text message from his sister Lenka. He had hoped it would be from one of the attorneys. Nothing yet was his response. "Mi preciosa," Merrick said after returning the phone to his pocket. "Moises and I had a good talk about you last night when I gave him his bath. He told me, well, as much as any 21-month-old baby can. Moises told me he misses you, and he wants to know when you're coming home. Moises loves you so much and needs both of us. I miss you, love you. Not sure how I'll go on, but I must for Moises' sake at least. I started seeing a therapist to help me. I dropped Moises off at your parents this morning. Mama Josefa just spoke with Abuela. Your grandmother was looking forward to our visiting with the babies this summer. I decided to fly her in for a couple of weeks with us. I'm still hoping Moises and I can go on a trip to Slovakia next year to visit my father's brothers and their families in Kamarno. My father's youngest brother, Strojka Henrich, said he would arrange for us to take a cruise on the Danube. I suspect all my relatives, especially Strojka and Teja, will fight with each other to spoil our Moises. Papa Rafael apologized for not coming to visit you in the past few weeks. He wants to remember you as you were. Vibrant, happy, alive. I assured him you would understand. Mama Josefa, Papa Rafael, I love you so much. Eric's eyes drifted back to the monitor. 3:54. He looked at his beloved laid out on her bed and croaked out, "They should honor your wishes." The unspoken end of the sentence was, "I'll let you die with dignity." Merrick tensed and tightly closed his eyes. He saw speech again punctuated and still in the room. He thought what he could not say. Each day, your body dies a bit more. Everyone has been lighting digital candles for you, Our Lady. This past Sunday, there must have been more than 50 lights burning at the nave. For the first time, Father Munoz lit a candle for you despite knowing your wishes. He's a good man. He told me he'd be honored to give you your last rites. Merrick turned again to the TV monitor. 3:57. He turned up the volume when he saw the reporter standing in the courthouse. In the 4 o'clock report, we'll give you the results of the human rights case playing out at the 5th Court of Appeals this afternoon. Merrick silenced the sound. Still nothing. He continued staring at the monitor as his eyes became focused. The seconds seemed to go by slowly as he prayed time would stop, at least slow down, to give the judge enough of it to make the correct decision. To allow Yolanda to die without resuscitation, as was her wish. To give her the gift of going to God. To let her family mourn her passing. And remember her like a little funny, warm, and loving person she was. Very good to die. Eric prayed again to God for the phone to ring, or for a text message to appear, or some dramatic announcement from television. He prayed the judge would, in the final moment, make the correct decision and let the family deal with Yolanda's passing in their own good Christian way. In the distance, the church bells slowly pealed the hour. The court was closed. Mary wept. That's